Hi there folks, welcome to Dunsy's Guitar World. Welcome to another quick guitar lesson. Today something a bit more alternative, a bit more up-tempo, a bit more punk rock than my usual stuff. From an album released in 1987, the album is called Warehouse, Songs and Stories. The artist Hüsker Dü, or Hüsker Dü. The song is Ice Cold Ice. I'm a huge fan of Hüsker Dü, Bob Mould, Sugar, Bob's solo stuff. Now, like all my lesson videos, I do like to set the expectation level from the off. So what can you expect from this lesson? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I think the easiest way to play this song is. And the way I played it in the cover version, which I did a few years ago, which is probably up there. So I am not claiming that this is how Bob plays it. On the studio version, there's definitely two guitars playing different things. It sounds like one's playing further up, like an octave higher than the other one. So I'm going to try and combine what Bob plays live. There's a couple of videos of them playing. I think one's at the Pink Pop Festival in Holland, and there's a more recent one with Dave Grohl playing with Bob's solo band. So I've watched those, repeatedly over the years. So I'm going to try and show you how I think it goes, but I'm going to base what I'm playing on what Bob does live and what my ears are hearing on the studio version. So I'll try and maybe combine two different things here. So it starts huge big chords as per a lot of Bob's stuff. So it starts with a D chord. Now it's not playing the top string at all on this first set of chords. So it's just a normal D chord but without a top string. So it's open D, second fret of the G, third fret of the B. And then we go up to the second fret of the D and the third fret of the D, like this. Now when we hit the third fret of the D, we're keeping, I'm using my third finger on the third fret of the B string, and we're also hitting the open G string, if that makes sense. So it goes like this. And again. Now I leave my third finger on the third fret of the B string, and then I move over to the second fret of the A string, the third fret of the A string, the C note, and the second fret of the D string. So that's like a part of a C chord. Probably like is that a C sus chord? I'm not entirely sure. So the first two parts are the D and then that little run. And then for the last one, we move over again to the third fret of the bottom E string and the second fret of the A string. So that's like a G chord again. We're keeping our third finger on the third fret of the B string. You can maybe even bring in the third fret of the top E string on this chord, but I don't think it's necessary. But it does sound good. Gives a bigger sound, I think, brighter sound. So slowly that whole intro bit goes like this. I'll change the angle of the camera so you can see my picking hand as well. Now on the last G chord, there's a melody starts. Now the melody sounds to me like it's going. So it's the G string open and then down to the third fret of the D, the F note. Back to the open G and then the second fret of the G, the A note. So that's the melody I'm hearing underneath the chords. And you're building the chords around that melody. So the melody is. So this to me And when you watch videos of Bob playing it, I don't see his hand moving up the fret. It just seems to be he's playing the whole thing down here, like. But on the studio version, I can hear like a higher octave melody where he's playing. It's the same notes, I think. He could be playing it here, G. But for the purposes of this video and what I think Bob was playing live, I think he's playing G like this, and then playing the 3rd fret of the D string, and then the 2nd fret of the G. He's maybe even playing the A chord back to the open G. So like a lot of Husker Dü, a lot of Bob Mould stuff, Sugar stuff, it sounds like Bob is, throughout all these chords, he's maybe keeping the 3rd fret of the B and top E strings, like the top part of that, so a G sus chord going. You're really moving the bass notes, but you're keeping the knees at the top all the time. And when it's up to speed, you know, there's a lot of big strumming chords going on. If you watch Bob when he's playing his Ibanez rock and roll, you know, he's got it really low down and he's really strumming. Big strummy chords, I mean, that's what you need, big strummy open chords. Finishes on a G, and then one of the greatest things in rock and roll is a big pick slide. Before we go into the verse, now I will say I'm doing a pick slide on a Stratocaster here with not a particularly overdriven sound, so it's not quite as effective. But if you're using like a high gain amp and you know you're playing at serious volume, you know you're in battle conditions, when you do the pick slide, very effective. So that takes us up to the verse. Now the verse is round a D chord. Again, I don't think you play the top string when you hit the D chord to begin with. I think you just hit the open D, 2nd fret of the G and the 3rd fret of the B. And then we start what could be effectively like a D minor. We play the 1st fret of the top E, pull it off to open. 3rd fret of the B, pull off to the 1st fret of the B, and then the 2nd fret of the G, pull off to the open G. It's like bend. So the underlying melody, that part, again there's chords over the top, but the underlying melody is this. Again. So it's the D chord. Big strums in this. Again, I'll change the angle so you can see my strumming handle. Playing fingers, hopefully. So it's the D chord. Then we go into an F power chord, like an F bar chord, 1st fret of the bottom E, 3rd fret, of the A and D strings. And then we move that all over to an A sharp chord, which is effectively the same shape, but upper string. So the A sharp chord is the first fret of the A string, third fret of the D and G. So it goes like this. To a G, to an A, to an A sharp, to the same A sharp chord. So coming out of the main verse part, a D chord where Bob's singing. The G, the A sharp. Now live what Bob plays, or it certainly looks like he plays from the D, there's like a descending run, and Greg seems to play this on the bass. So it's like a D to the C. Again, I'm keeping my third finger on the third fret of the B string, and sometimes my pinky on the third fret of the top E string to keep the top of that G chord. So it sounds like it's a D to the C to the A sharp to the A, then back to the G where he plays the back to the chorus again, the D, C, A sharp, to the A, the G. Now on the studio version, I can hear this melody, which is or this kind of chord being picked over the top. So to my ears it sounds like it's the 7th fret of the G string, 6th fret of the B string, and 8th fret of the top E, and it's just going like this. Just picking out that. So we get to there, and that takes us back into another verse round the D. Four times I think, and then we go to the F sharp to the A sharp. To the G. A to the A sharp, and then back to the chorus part again, the D, A sharp, A, G, and the guitar seems to be playing. What I did in my cover version, I just played this guitar part. And I think it sounds okay because the bass player would be playing the descending line. I think that's what the bass is doing anyway. So that takes us up to the end of the second chorus. Now after the end of the second chorus, it's like there's just two chords, the big G chord, the big C chord. Now, the melody I hear under that is the open G string, and then the 8th fret of the B and the 5th fret of the E string. So one guitar is just playing big chords. and the other guitars playing. And then at the end of that, there's this chord sequence. It's an F. Now, I think he may be playing the F. It's going to come for you. It's like sitting in an airplane seat for a long haul trip. He may be playing the F chord, which in my band, the Joyriders, we used to refer as Hüsker Dü F. I don't know if there's any root. I don't know if he's playing the first fret of the bottom E string, but it sounds to me like it's the third fret of the A and D strings, open G string, and then the first fret of the B string to a D. Again, I don't hear the top string being played on it. I think on the third one it changes from going from the F to a D to going to the F to a C. So it sounds a bit like this. Back to a G. And then I think there's another pick slide here. Could be another pick slide there back into a final verse back to the D. And then another chorus to the end of the song. So that's all the parts. That's all the parts as I hear them. As I say, I'm not claiming this is what Bob plays. But I mean, I've done this in rehearsal rooms, you know, with friends if we're jamming through a few Hüsker Dü songs, if we're doing, you know, The Girl Who Lives on Heaven's Hill, or we're doing this, whatever it is. This is how I played it, and it sounded okay. Nobody in the band I was rehearsing with went, "Oh, I don't think that's how that goes, Dunsy." So, you know, a lot of my lessons I say, I think you can get away with that, and I don't mean that in a bad way, you know, like you're cheating. What I mean is, this is the easy way that I think you can play this song, and I think it sounds reasonably authentic to the original, which is what it's all about. It's the easy way to play a brilliant song, because this is an absolutely fantastic song. So as ever, folks, I do hope you found it helpful. It's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsy's Guitar World. Cheers for now.